Jimmy K here, Metal Voice. Look at this. The Metal Voice shirts are now on sale. Just go to the video description to find out on how you can purchase one. Metal! Welcome to the Metal Voice. Today on the show, the one, the only, Mr. Steve Harris, Iron Maiden and British Lion. What's going on, Steve?
Yeah, well, just about getting ready to fly up to Canada and do some shows there. A couple of days rehearsal and then we're into it. Really looking forward to it. It's the first time British Lion have played on terra firma outside of Europe. So, I mean, in February we did do the Monsters Rock cruise, but of course that was on at sea. So, it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it.
So I'll read out the British Lion tour dates with Coney Hatch here, okay? November 1st in Toronto, Ontario, November 2nd in Waterloo, November 3rd in Ottawa, November 4th in Quebec City, and November 5th in Montreal. So Steve, tell me, I spoke to Carl Dixon, great guy, Coney Hatch, and I did an interview with him just prior to this.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
Tell me about the connection between Coney Hatch and yourself over the years.
Well, Andy Cohen is the connection for me, really, because I became really good friends with him on the tour. I mean, you know, I've become friends with all of them, but mainly Andy. So we kept in touch over the years, and, you know, when basically Coney Hatch played with Maiden in the 80s, and we kept in touch and played tennis, you know, on a fairly regular basis. Whenever I'm in Canada or he's with him, we can possibly meet up somewhere, sometimes in the States. We'll usually play tennis. And, you know, we just became really good mates.
All right. Tell me about whose idea was it to tour with Coney Hatch in Canada? Was that you, or did you approach them, or did they approach you?
Well, it was my idea. I approached him because I said, you know, I thought, well, you know, I knew he was still, you know, active with Coney Hatch every now and again, and I thought it'd be good for them to get out and do some gigs together. We'd have fun, and also, from, you know, it would be good from our point of view because putting the toe in the water, you know, playing outside of Europe, it's kind of hard to know what we would do, you know, ticket-wise, and I thought, you know, it would be really good because I knew that Coney Hatch would bring people in, we'd bring people in, and so we can both try and step each other's audiences, and so it could work out well.
Now, British Lion, you have one album under your belt. I'm assuming, you know, you need to fill up the set since you're headlining. Would it be like you're playing cover tunes of, you know, rock and roll greats, or are you throwing in some new songs? What's the plan?
Well, it's been like it for a while. There's only really one cover tune that we've been doing, and I'm not sure if we're going to do it on this tour or not. When we get to rehearsals, we decide, but that's a UFO song. The rest of it is all, you know, our own stuff. So there'll be stuff on this tour from, you know, the first album, obviously, and there are also stuff from the second album, which we finished recording. We haven't mastered it yet, but we haven't done the artwork yet, and I haven't decided when it's going to go out yet either, because I don't, you know, I'm governed by obviously what happens with Maiden. So I'm sure what's going on with Maiden. So I can't arrange a tour or anything until I know what's Maiden's doing, and then we'll decide then to when we release the album next year.
What about plans to tour? Okay, you're doing Canada, you're doing South America and different parts of the world, but what about plans to go to the US? I know a lot of people are talking about this.
We'd love to go to the US, but when we do the US, it's such a vast country that we just, you know, it's like, well, actually the west coast of Canada too, we want to do that as well, but we just concentrate on the east side because we just, at the moment of Canada, because we don't really have time to do more than that right now. We got offered to do these shows in South America and Japan as well, so we're doing those. But when we finally do come over and do the US, we'll do the west coast of Canada as well, and, you know, we can basically spend a few weeks doing it, you know, which is not leaving long enough really with the amount of places there are in the States, but there's no point just doing one or two shows really. We've just got to come in and try and do as many as we can, and but for that, to be able to do that, we've got a block period of time when I know I'm free and available to do it, and obviously, you know, we have to fine tune what's going on with Maiden and everything like that first, and that's always the way it is because, you know, Maiden comes first, and of course it should do, and it always will do.
For sure. Tell me about the new album. Okay, the first album came out. It was a hard rock album. What are your plans in terms of musical direction for the next British Lion album?
Well, the band has evolved over the last 5 or 6 years live. You know, we played quite a lot of shows in Europe and stuff, and you know, so it's become more of a tighter band. I think, you know, we've found our direction has been naturally evolving, and if anything, I think it's getting heavier than it was really. It's still very melodic. The songs are, I don't know, they're still kind of UFO Thin Lizzy type of influence, I think, in a lot of them, but there are other influences too. But in general, I think we are just getting a little bit harder edged, really. I mean, these days, let's face it, there are some bands that, you know, make even Maiden sound like the Moody Blues, but it's, you know, it's kind of, there's some real heavy bands out there. So what I think is heavier and what other people think is getting heavier is two different things possibly. But
sure,
we feel like we're a bit harder edged than we were. So there is a bit of a slight direction change possibly. But it's been, as I said, it's been a natural thing. It's not been something that we consciously thought, oh, we've got to go this way. It's just been the way through playing live shows. It's very powerful, much more powerful live than on record, I think. And I think with the second record, we've tried to capture that essence of what we are live more.
Okay. What about, and as a Canadian, so I'm a Canadian here, and you know, Rush is probably one of my favorite bands next to Iron Maiden, but how much was Geddy Lee an influence in you growing up? I mean, there's no right or wrong answer here, but how much did Geddy Lee influence you as a bassist?
Not very much, really, if I'm honest, because I was really influenced by more British players. I grew up with more. I mean, I did love Rush as well. I still do. But I had the 2112 album, you know, and stuff, and Farewell to Kings and all that. Of course, you know, I think everyone in the world had their albums.
Yeah.
But I was more really influenced by people like John Entwistle, you know, Andy Fraser from Free, Martin Turner from Wishbone Ash, Renus Gerritsen from Golden Eerie. People like that, so Pete Way from UFO, those people influenced me more really than Geddy, I think. But Geddy's a fantastic player, of course he is. He's not a bad tennis player either, because me and Andy Cohen actually played tennis a while ago with him and Alex Lifeson, and it was, yeah, good, really good. So I think there's a, you know, challenge out there to play again.
When you meet Rush, is it, oh my God, it's Steve Harris from Geddy Lee, or is it, oh my God, it's Geddy Lee? You know, I mean, who's admiring who? It would be very odd.
Well, it was quite funny because when me and Andy were supposed to play tennis against them two, you know, Alex and Geddy, and then Geddy said, no, actually, you know, so basically me and Geddy ended up playing against them two first, and then we switched around afterwards. But it was that, you know, I thought nobody was there to watch it, but I thought it'd be quite funny if people seeing me and him playing tennis together.
Were you also, I mean, I've read in the past that you're influenced by Genesis. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Genesis, all those prog bands really, you know, Genesis, Jethro Tull, Emerson, Lake Palmer, you know, all that stuff. Yes, King Crimson, all those type of bands definitely influenced me and Maiden, you know, whatever. I think it's come out more as the years have gone by in Maiden. So yeah, I mean, that road could be pursued more with Maiden or with British Lion. I don't know. We'll see. It's not really so much on this album, but those sort of inspirational bands are going to, you know, it's going to come out in your influences at some point or another, and it already has. But I mean, I'm sure it will again at some point.
Like, I always thought of British Lion as a sort of vehicle for you to kind of go in that direction more so than Maiden. You know, and I always thought, wow, he's going to come out with a 20-minute song.
No, in actual fact, it's more actually straight, maybe a little straighter and more just, you know, hard rock than the prog sides, so far anyway.
Yeah, sure.
But that doesn't mean to say, I mean, David Hawkins, a guitar player, he's really into prog rock as well. So, you know, if I start writing just with him more, maybe that might take a turn towards the prog rock. I know he's sort of already sort of hinted at that a little bit, but so, you know, in the future it could very well happen. But at the moment it's just more straight, sort of kind of fairly straight anyway. Hard rock with really good melodies.
Yeah, and actually a question for those fans who don't know British Lion. How did it, and quickly, I mean, how did it all begin? Whose idea was it, and how did that inception begin?
Well, it's basically went back to the 90s when I used to manage him. I used to be their agent. I basically do pretty much everything. I was helping to write some bits and pieces as well, and that's sort of how it started up. Obviously, back in those days, we never said anything about that stuff, but I did actually get up on stage and do a song with them once in Portugal, and I was just trying to help them out. And then, of course, as these things do, the band just sort of fell apart, whatever. It was a shame. But I just thought, what, these songs are too good not to see the light of day. And I thought one day I'm going to do something about it. And I told the guy, Richie Taylor, that I would. And, I was good to my word. I did, so, I thought the only way to really make it happen is for me to join the band. And I'm so glad I did, because, I'm just having a lot of fun.
Great.
It's tough sometimes to try and cram things in, find time to do stuff, and that's the only downside to it really, is that it's just trying to, obviously Maiden will always come first. They know that, and that there's no problem with it at all, but it just means that, when you get offered things like this, like now, you just have to do it. People think I'm a workaholic. It's not so much that, it's just that, you just have to take the opportunities and cram stuff in when you can, because you don't know when the opportunities are going to come along again. And say I'm busy with Maiden, not just on the road but off the road. I'm very busy behind the scenes doing stuff all the time, so I just have to cram stuff in. But it's not affecting Maiden one bit at all. It doesn't compromise anything I'm doing with Maiden whatsoever, but it just means that I just have to try and take the opportunity to grab things when they get offered. And if I slip, I've turned stuff down too, many times, because I haven't been available, to do it.
Do you, just as a last question, and quickly, do you, you're not one of the lyricists, do you feel that sometimes you want to participate more in the British Line lyrics, or you're just happy to sort of step back and just work on the music?
Well, Richie does most of the words, so I'll do the few bits here or whatever, but here and there. But he's a very good lyricist anyway. So, and I sort of, I suppose, to get things out of my system, I write so much stuff for Maiden, so I don't really have a problem with it at all. And if I had something that I wanted to say in particular, I would. But he's very prolific as well, and he's got lots of great ideas, and I like what he writes anyway. If I didn't, I'd tell him, but and maybe I would change it, or possibly, but I don't need to. He's, the stuff he comes up with is really, really good.
Perfect. So here we go. I'll read out the dates one last time. November 1st, Queen Elizabeth Theatre, Toronto. November 2nd, Maxwell and Waterloo,
Well, actually,
Ontario.
I think that venue has been changed, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I think it's just changed now. I think there's been some sort of some issues that are out beyond our control, so I'm told, and I think that venue is changing from Queen Elizabeth Hall to the Great Hall. Same night. Tickets are still valid for that, from whatever they're saying, but it's just the venue has changed. That's what I've been told.
It's a good thing we're having this interview then. Correction. November 1st in
So
Toronto.
you got the first bit of news right there.
That's it. Breaking news. November 2nd, Maxwell and Waterloo. November 3rd, Brass Monkey in Ottawa. November 4th, Imperial Bell Centre in Quebec City. And November 5th, Corona Theatre in Montreal. I'm looking forward to see your show in Montreal. Steve, it's been a huge pleasure to have you on The Metal Voice.
All right, mate. Cheers. I'll see you there.
All right. Have a nice night.